I don't know if you've known this when it comes to lying. People say, well, I know you're lying because of the way you can't look me in the eye, right? Some say, well, you kind of do this little twitchy thing with your face when you lie or whatever. Well, my mom had told me all the things that gave me away when I lied. So I had worked on this to be a professional. Welcome back to the podcast. We are on episode number 53. I'm going to start off with a question. It's a little bit direct. I hope you're ready for it. Why are you such a liar? Now, don't sit there and tell me that you don't. Don't sit there and tell me that you're not a liar. And more importantly, don't lie to yourself about this, and don't lie to God. You know, I was looking up a little statistic on this, and I found that the average person lies an average of 25 times per day. Can you believe that? 25 times per day. It seems so second nature to us, and I think we need to do a little check when it comes to that, right? So that's going to be what we're going to focus on today as far as lying and what God feels about it and why you're hurting Him, why you're hurting others, and why you are hurting yourself. Before I go any further, though, will you do me a favor and subscribe? Click that little subscribe button if you are on YouTube right now, or whatever platform you're on. I want to make sure that you get all of these podcasts. So let's get back to it. Why are you such a liar? You know, I was thinking about this myself and realizing that I was a professional liar as a kid. And I guess if I would allow myself to be, I still am, because now I'm a liar with more years of experience of doing it well. But as a child, I would lie all the time. And I was trying to think why that is. Probably for some of the same reasons that you do it. You're thinking that telling a different version of what is now your truth will get you a better result or a better reaction. And I did this quite a bit with my mother. And my mother would tell me a lot. She'd say, hey, there's just one thing. I know you're going to do stuff. I know things are going to be wrong, but I really don't like it when you lie to me. So whatever you do, do not lie to me. Now, I know that biblically, it's even more true of God, that God does not like when we lie. And let's face it, God is a lot smarter than our parents were. Even though my mom would catch me most of the time, God is even better, because God always knows the truth, because He's everywhere and He sees everything. Well, anyways, I can think of this one particular time when I was a young person, actually in high school at this particular point, and my mom was very good at, how could you say it, getting me to admit to things that she acted like she knew, and so just don't lie to me, but in reality, she didn't know. And I would fall for this over and over again. She'd say, you know what, I already know the truth, so you might as well just tell me, because it's going to be a lot less worse for you if you do that. So I would tell the truth, and she'd be like, what are you talking about? And I realized she didn't know. And so I'm got to the point where I'm thinking, I'm not falling for that anymore. Well, anyways, in high school, I had just got the car. I was probably around 16, 17 years of age. And I wanted to go to the movies with my friends afterward in the afternoon. And I don't remember the reason why, but she was saying to me, hey, no, you're going to come home. You're not going to the movies. You're not going to do that. You come straight home. All right? And I said, okay, fine. We have some things to do right afterwards, but I won't go to the movies. I'll come back. Well, my friends, of course, what did they want to do? They wanted to go to the movies. And I knew that she told me not to go. And it's not that I had to go to the movies so bad, but you know how peer pressure is. And I didn't want to let my friends down, and they were counting on me as one of the rides to get there. And so there we went into the Westwood area down in West Los Angeles, where all the movie theaters were, and we went to the movies. Well, my mom wasn't going to get home from work until after the point that I was going to be back anyways. We didn't exactly have cell phones back then when you were tracking people all the time, so it was no big deal. I'm figuring she's not going to know, right? So we go to the movies, everything's fine. Well, I get home, everything's safe, the car is good, you name it, and all that. And she gets home, and probably about 20 minutes after she gets home, she comes into the living room and she says, I thought I told you not to go to the movie theater. And I'm thinking about this as she says it, right? And I'm thinking, how in the world does she know that I went to the movie theater. And I'm like, I'm not falling for this again. Have you ever been there? Where you're thinking someone's just trying to trip you up? I'm thinking, I'm not falling for this again. I'm trying to run it through my mind. How could she possibly know that I went to the movie theater? And I come to the conclusion that there's no way. She wouldn't have driven over there. She wouldn't have seen it. She wouldn't have had time to do that. She wouldn't have spotted the car. There's no way in the world that she knows. So I'm not falling for this trick that I've fallen for many, many times. So I look at her and I go, what are you talking about? Just look her straight in the eye. Now, I don't know if you've known this when it comes to lying. People say, well, I know you're lying because of the way you can't look me in the eye, right? Or some say, well, you kind of do this little twitchy thing with your face when you lie or whatever. Well, my mom had told me all the things that gave me away when I lied. So I had worked on this to be a professional, on how I'd look her straight in the eye and totally look honest and just go over that. So I looked her straight in the eye. I'm like, Mom, you told me not to go to the movies, okay? So I didn't go. I wanted to go. I'll admit to you, I wanted to go. My friends were going, but you said not to go, so I didn't go. And she goes, really? And I said, yes, really. She goes, are you sure about that? You don't want to change your story? Inside I'm thinking, Mom, I'm not falling for this one. You're not getting me this time. I said, Mom, I didn't go to the movies. And she said, then what's this? And she holds up this little ticket. And it's the little ticket for when you went to pay to park and they put it on your car, right underneath the windshield wiper. I was busted, absolutely busted. Lost the car for a few weeks, deserved it. I'm lucky I ever got it back again. But you know what? Here's the problem that I had, and I think it's the problem that you have a lot as well. I wasn't really sorry that I lied. I was only sorry that I got caught. I was only sorry about the consequences because I didn't want to suffer the consequences. It was all about me. It had absolutely nothing to do in my heart and mind at that time about the fact that I was lying to my mom. The only thing that I was upset about was that there were consequences on me. In fact, that's why I was lying to begin with, because I wanted to do certain things that I knew I wasn't supposed to do. And instead of either obeying that or suffering the consequence for doing it, I wanted to get out of it. Well, you know what? That's how lies started right from the beginning. The devil comes along and he says, hey, has God said you shall not eat of the tree of the garden? And then Eve responds, well, we can eat of the tree of the garden. It's just as one. He says that we should not eat of it or even touch it lest we die. And what does the devil do right off the bat? He goes, you're not going to really die. He starts taking the consequences away. And then he starts casting doubt on the character of God himself, saying, oh, the only reason he doesn't want you to have it, the only reason he doesn't want you to partake of that fruit is because he doesn't want you to be like him. He knows that you're going to be like God, knowing good and evil. Now, this was a technical half-truth. I mean, it was somewhat true, but he wasn't filling in the consequences of everything that was going to happen. So you and I, to this day, we lie and we do it for selfish reasons. Can you admit that? Don't lie and say that it's not for selfish reasons. It's all about you. Now, if we can take the focus off of us for a moment, which we really should do, who is it then that we're lying and how is it that we are affecting them? That's what I want to take our last few minutes of this podcast to do today. By the way, do you care? Don't lie to me. If you don't care, just turn it off. All right? If you're just going to go ahead and lie and continue to do that, just turn it off. In fact, some of you tell me that you're going to watch the podcast episodes and you don't even watch them. But if I'm talking to you, you're probably not actually on here watching this, so that's fine. Some of you say, I'll subscribe to the podcast, and you don't. Some of you tell people, I'll pray for you, and you never do. What a liar, right? We do this a lot. So let's start with it. First of all, when we lie to other people, and I want to use the example that I just said right there. Someone comes to you, dear Christian brother or friend, or maybe just a friend of yours, and hey, can you say a prayer? I'm really going through something right now. Can you just remember me in prayer? Oh, I definitely will do that. Do you? Do you actually do that? You know, for years I told people I would pray for them and I didn't. When I told them that I would do it, I somewhat intended to do it, but you know what? Then you get busy, you start thinking about stuff, you're dealing with your own stuff, and so you don't do it. So you know what I often do now is I realize, you know what? It's not right to tell someone you're going to do that. In fact, it would be better For if you have no intention of praying for them, it would be better for them to say, you know what? Yeah, I know you asked me to pray for you, but it's just not that important to me, so I'm not going to do it. I know that's really insulting, but it would be better to be honest than to be a liar about it, right? So if you tell someone you're going to pray for them about it, maybe you're getting a text and, hey, can you keep this in prayer or whatever? One of the practices that I like to do now is I'll pray about it right then and there. Even if it's just for 10, 15 seconds. God, I just pray you help them with this. I know they're going through this right now. Please protect them. Help with this health situation, whatever it is. And then I'll try to pray about it later, but at least I know that if I did it right then, I actually kept my word and did what I said I was going to do. Don't tell people you're going to do things when you don't, right? I learned this lesson very early when I was working one of my first jobs after getting married. I was at this small little Sears store in Canyon Country, California, which is now known as Santa Clarita, the city of Santa Clarita. I was just out there recently and I saw the very spot where that store used to be. Now there's something else in there. But I was in this little store. It wasn't one of the big ones. It was like a catalog store and it had a sales floor and all that. And when I got hired there, I was actually encouraged. The guy's name, I'm sure he's around somewhere now. He moved, but he should be still alive, I would think. The guy's name, it was funny because he told me on the phone when it came time to come in, he goes, yep. He goes, just ask for me, Chuck Norris, just like the guy in the movies. And I go, well, do you look like the guy in the movies? He goes, not at all. And you know what? He didn't. But anyways, I got in there and I found out that, as I was saying, I didn't really want to work Sunday mornings because I went to church. I could work any other time. I found out we weren't even open on Sundays anyways, but he was glad that I asked that because he was a pretty committed believer in Christ himself, and so he was glad to have me as part of the new employee workforce there. So I worked my way up while I was at that store, and I got to go onto the sales floor and help people with vacuums and refrigerators, just about everything. All the appliances, all the electronics, I got to put it out. I got to do a lot of things. Well, one day, he asked me, he said, hey, we need 2 refrigerators put out, and then also this stereo that's in the back. I need you to put those out for me, okay? And I said, okay, sure. Well, anyways, I've got to be honest with you. I didn't feel that much like doing that day. Okay, so I decided I just kind of put it off. And even though I knew that's what he had asked me to do, he wasn't there. He actually had left for the day. And so I kind of like never did it because I didn't feel like doing it. So he comes in the next day. We're there in the same shift and he's looking and he goes, hey, what happened? I thought I asked you to put the refrigerator and the stereo out. I'm like, oh, it just got kind of busy and I wasn't able to get to it. And he goes, busy? He goes, you were selling a lot of stuff? He goes, let me see what you did. And I said, well, actually I was dealing with customers, but it didn't really come through. He goes, so you're telling me you didn't have any time to do even one of these items? And I had to look at him and then finally I kind of said, well, no, I just really didn't feel like doing it. And he looked at me in quite a disappointment and he told me something. He said, you know what? He goes, I've got to tell you that I'm really disappointed in that and I want to tell you why. He goes, because a lot of the people that work here, they don't know God. They don't have a relationship with God. You do, and I do, and we're trying to be an example of what it is that a person that knows God and has faith is supposed to live like and act like. And when I asked you to do something and you just decided not to do it because you didn't feel like it, what kind of example does that set? That's not really being a good worker. And that really convicted me that day. I was really young at the time, but I thought, man, he's right. And you know what? One of the things we've got to understand is when we're not honest, when we're not people of integrity, what ends up happening is that we then become a very poor example to other people. If we're living for God the way that we say that we do, and we're going to be people of audacious faith, then we need to have integrity and be honest and not be caught in being liars all the time and not following through with the things that we're going to say. So the first is when we lie to other people. The second thing is, what about when we lie to ourselves? Self-integrity is very important. And you know why you don't follow through with a lot of the promises that you actually make to yourself? Because you know that over and over again you've lied to yourself and you don't follow through. You tell yourself you're going to be more committed, but by tomorrow you're not. You're going to make a whole new decision. You're not going to smoke anymore. You're not going to drink anymore. Or you're not going to be lazy anymore. Or you're going to get more dedicated the next day. And then 1-2 days later, you're not. You continually break the promises and you lie to yourself. You don't have integrity and you don't even believe yourself when you make those particular commitments. So that is another issue. So you're hurting others when you lie. You're hurting yourself when you lie. And now the worst thing is when we lie to God. Now I'm going to go back to my mother example because my mother would always catch me. Let's fast forward. Somewhere around the same time, high school. Man, I just got caught so many times in high school. So in high school, actually before the other event, there was this girl that I liked. Okay? I can't believe I'm going to share this on this particular podcast here. So there was this girl that I liked. Now, I was just ending my 10th grade year, and she had just graduated from her 12th grade year. Didn't find out I liked her, that she liked me, until after she had graduated. So here we are in the summer. She's actually going to be going away to an foreign exchange program in Germany in a couple of months. Well, anyways, my mom did not like her. Did not like her at all. Really for no reason. Never really talked to her. Probably because she was older. She was going to leave. She just didn't want bad things to happen to me. I don't know. I won't say her name in case somehow she stumbles upon this. But if she's watching, she probably knows I'm talking about her. But anyways, what ends up happening is my mom says, I don't want you seeing her. I don't want you spending time with her. And I definitely do not want her coming over here to the house, especially when I'm not here. All right? So my mom, of course, goes to work, and I know the certain time that my mom's going to get home. So what do? I allow her to come over to the house. She brings her bike over, rides her bike over. We put the bike around the corner towards the back of the house into the backyard. We're spending time in the house. Nothing bad, but just spending time in the house. And I'll just leave it at that. But anyways, I know my mom is getting home. I think my mom was supposed to get home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon that day. So I'm not stupid. I mean, I may be a liar, but I'm not stupid. And so I'm thinking, okay, we're going to make sure we don't cut this too close. By 12:40, I'm going to go out with you and get the bike, and you're going to leave so that you leave in plenty of time so that my mom never knows, right? So we walk out the front door to the house. We go around to the back of the house, down the side, open up the gate, get the bike, all of that. And then we start walking back out to the front of the house. And as I come around the corner, guess what I see in the driveway? But my mom with the driver door open and 1 foot out of the car, who sets eyes on me and this girl coming around the corner. Yeah. I basically lied to my mom when I said I wasn't going to do it. And I can still, I was about 16 years of age. Now I'm not. This is about 39 years later. And I can still picture to this day, like it was yesterday, the expression and the look on my mom's face when our eyes met and we came around the corner. By the way, if you're wondering what happened, she just took her bike and she just got out of there real quick. My mom said nothing to her, but needless to say, she was very upset at me. Now, if we get upset and remember when we hurt people that we love, how about God? When we lie to Him and we lie in our life on a regular basis and understand that He always sees everything. You know that old thing about it's only illegal or it's only wrong if you get caught? Well, God always sees everything. We always get caught. There's nothing that He's not present for. Not only does He know what we did, He was present when we did it. That's the thing about it. We have an omnipresent, all-knowing God. He's everywhere and He knows everything. There's not a moment of your life that he's not aware of. There's not even a thought that you ever have. Psalm 139 tells us that he is not hearing and that he's not aware of. There's not even an action that you're going to do tomorrow that he's not already aware of today that you're going to do it. In fact, he knew you were going to do it before the day came that you were even born. That's how powerful and amazing God is. And how disappointing and how sad it is, and how much does it mess up our relationship when we lie to him, right? So 3 things. We lie to others, we lie to ourselves, we lie to God. So as we finish this up today, I want to reiterate this question to you once again. Why are you such a liar? Don't act as if you're not. Are you in the 25 times a day, or is it even more? Hopefully it's a little bit less, but why do we do it? I believe very strongly in my life and in your life that if we would start to be more honest, have more integrity, than our relationship with God, with others, and even the relationship to the own promises that we make to ourselves would be so much better and more effective. We're going to have a hugely better life. The Bible tells us, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not bear false witness. So we've got to stop doing it because it is a sin and it affects our life greatly, as well as our testimony when it comes to others. Well, I hope this has benefited you today. If it has, please, and don't lie to me, but please message in and put some comments possibly in the particular platform that you are, or send me an email at jgothier@gmail.com, or reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. Have you subscribed to the podcast? I think I asked you that, but I'm going to ask you again. Have you? Do you know that we are almost at the goal that we've been trying to hit, 1,000 subscribers? As the time is arriving right now when I'm recording this, I believe we are at around 928 presently as far as the subscribers we have. You could be 929. Reach out, get some other friends to do it. Let's get over the 1,000. We want YouTube to be pushing these videos more so that people way around the world and everywhere will be able to see them. If this has been a benefit to you, please share it with others. God bless you. This has been episode number 53 of the Audacious Faith Podcast.